You have a dog or you want one, or you at least think they are fine. But 40,000 years ago, that dog was a wolf, and that wolf was hunting the same prey you were hunting, and it was better at it than you were. And it did not care whether you made it through the night. So, how did we get here? How did something that was built to outcompete us end up sleeping at the foot of our bed? The answer is one of the strangest stories in human history, and it did not just give us a companion. It gave us survival. It gave us civilization. It may have given us everything. 40,000 years ago, this was not our world, not even close. Forget the cave paintings. Forget the campfire stories. Think about the night. No walls worth mentioning. No electricity. No alarm system. Just dark and everything in it that wanted to eat you. Cave lions, cave hyenas, cave bears the size of modern horses, every one of them bigger, faster, and better built for the Ice Age than any human had any right to compete with. You were a medium-sized primate with a spear and terrible night vision, trying to sleep in a landscape that treated you as a food source. And you were not alone in this. There was another human here. Neanderthals had been in Europe for 200,000 years before we arrived. They were not primitive. They used fire. They made tools. They buried their dead. They had broader shoulders, stronger bones, a body built specifically for cold that would have killed us in a season. By every measurable physical standard, they should have outlasted us. They are gone. Every single one of them. We are here. And the reason, the actual reason, starts with a wolf that made a decision we never asked it to make. It did not start with a plan. Nobody sat down and decided to domesticate a predator. It started with wolves being opportunistic and humans being observant. Some wolves, the ones with the weakest fear response around humans, started drifting toward camps, not attacking, just existing nearby, eating whatever scraps got left behind. The wolves that could tolerate human presence ate better and lived longer and had more offspring. Those offspring were also slightly calmer around people. 10,000 years of that loop produced something that had never existed before. Not a wolf that tolerated humans, something new, something built without anyone planning it specifically to exist alongside us. Here is the part that stops most people. Dogs were domesticated more than 10,000 years before any other animal, before the goat, before the cow, before farming existed at all. The dog partnership was not a convenience of settled life. It was forged in the most dangerous conditions humans ever faced. Ice Age conditions, competing apex predators, prey that could kill you as easily as you could kill them. The dog did not get domesticated because life got easy. It got domesticated because life was the hardest it had ever been, and something had to give. Here is where most people's understanding stops. Guard duty, hunting help, that is the surface version. It does not come close to capturing what actually happened. Researchers looking at massive mammoth kill sites in Europe found something that could not be explained by the weapons available at the time. Sites with the remains of 80, 90, sometimes over 100 individual mammoths. Human shelters built from mammoth bone. Kill after kill after kill in the same locations across thousands of years. A mammoth is 4 tons of muscle and tusk. A human with a spear and no coordination has very poor odds against one. A team of humans and large dogs working together has something that looks like a strategy. Dogs would find the prey first, track it across terrain by scent alone, then surround it, hold it in place by growling and charging while hunters moved in for the kill. Both species using their specific strengths in combination, neither one capable of the result alone. The timing of those mammoth graveyards lines up almost exactly with when dogs entered the picture. Not a coincidence, an equation. More prey meant more protein. More protein meant stronger adults and more children who survived infancy. A population that eats better grows faster and compounds that advantage across generations. The dog did not just help with one hunt. It changed the arithmetic of survival permanently, but the hunt was only half of it. The other half was the night. A predator approaching a human camp with dogs does not get to approach quietly. It gets announced. The humans wake up ready. The attack either does not happen, or it does not succeed. Ancient humans had no night vision worth mentioning. Their hearing was average. Their sense of smell was practically useless compared to everything hunting them. Dogs covered every single one of those gaps. They reacted to threats before any human could detect them. They patrolled the perimeter while the camp slept. They turned the hours of darkness from the most dangerous part of every day into something survivable. Do that 10,000 nights in a row, and the survival math changes completely. 2 groups of humans in the same landscape, hunting the same prey, facing the same predators, sleeping through the same dangerous nights. One group wakes up every morning, slightly better fed, slightly better rested, slightly less likely to have lost someone to a cave lion overnight. The other group does not. That gap sounds small. Over a century, it is significant. Over a millennium, it is everything. Neanderthals never domesticated a single animal. Not one. They faced the Ice Age the same way they had always faced it, alone, with tools and fire and accumulated knowledge and nothing else. Homo sapiens arrived in Europe with something that functionally did not exist before, a cross-species alliance with a predator, a hunting partnership that doubled their range, tripled their success rate, and covered the hours of darkness when human senses were at their absolute worst. The Neanderthals were bigger and stronger and had been there longer. None of it was enough. We had a partner and they did not. And 10,000 years after modern humans arrived, the Neanderthals were gone. Every single one of them. And we were not. Every animal humans eventually domesticated gave us something physical. The goat gave milk, the cow gave labor, the horse gave speed. The dog gave something no other animal has given before or since. It rewired itself to understand us. Point at something across a room. Your dog looks at the thing, not your hand, not your finger, the thing. A chimpanzee, the animal most genetically similar to us on Earth, looks at your finger. Dogs understand the gesture spontaneously from puppies, without a single day of training. That comprehension is not something we taught them. It is something they evolved specifically. Over thousands of years of living alongside humans, they developed a biological sensitivity to human communication that nothing else on Earth has developed. Their brains have dedicated regions sensitive to the human voice, similar in structure to the ones in our own heads. Brain scans show that emotionally charged sounds, a laugh, a cry, an angry shout, activate a dog's auditory cortex and amygdala the same way they activate ours. They respond not just to what you say, but to how you feel when you say it. In a study, dogs exposed to sweat from frightened people exhibited measurable stress themselves. Dogs exposed to sweat from calm people stayed calm. They were detecting fear chemistry before the person feeling it had consciously registered it themselves. For an ancient human trying to survive in the dark, that is not a parlor trick. That is an early warning system built directly into an animal sleeping 3 FT away. And then there is the thing that no other domesticated animal does. When a dog makes eye contact with you, both of you experience a surge of oxytocin, the same bonding hormone triggered between a parent and an infant, the same chemical that builds trust and loyalty and the willingness to protect something beyond yourself. Hand-raised wolves, ones that grew up around humans their entire lives, do not produce this response. It is unique to domesticated dogs. They evolved it specifically as a mechanism for binding themselves to us. The dog did not just learn to live near humans, it evolved at a biological level to be bonded to us. That is a different thing entirely. At ancient burial sites thousands of years old, dogs were found buried alongside humans, decorated with collars, placed near their people, treated in death the same way the humans around them were treated. These were not working tools that people got sentimental about. These were companions. Ancient humans, 15,000 years ago, were grieving their dogs the way you would grieve a family member. That tells you everything about what this relationship actually was and how long it has actually been this way. The dog was there before the farm, before the city, before the written word, before every other animal we ever domesticated, every crop we ever planted, every wall we ever built. It was there when we had nothing, when we were a medium-sized primate with a spear trying to outlast a planet that had not yet decided we deserved to make it. And it stayed anyway. 40,000 years later, its descendants are asleep at the foot of your bed. And if you think that is just a nice story, you are missing the actual one. The actual one is that without that animal, the species probably does not spread, the civilizations probably do not get built. The world you live in, every part of it, sits downstream of a wolf that was hunting the same prey as your ancestors one night and made a different calculation than anyone expected. That is the whole story, and it is the most important one we have.